Gugu. Thanks so much for your time and congratulations. I mean, it's sad that in 2018 we don't really meet many sort of fully fledged black-owned securities companies. Before we get to that issue, perhaps tell us a little bit more about this deal between yourself and other black consortium investors with Macquarie's South African assets.
Yes. So this is a true black economic empowerment transaction. It is 49% Macquarie and 51% local black owned, and that's why it's called now Mazi Macquarie. And in the consortium, we have Mazi Capital, we have AIH, which is 100% black female owned and led. We have AMB, and then we have Mazi.
Right.
Yeah.
And exactly what is this merger going to do? Maybe less for Macquarie, but more for the BE consortium.
Yeah, I mean, I think financial services has largely been a pale male industry. And when people say we can't find the right talent, particularly in the stock brokering environment, I always say that's a myth. I think we just don't put in the effort, we just don't have the commitment. And this transaction proves that. That's what we're aiming to do. It's transforming the industry. It's pulling out local talent, which we are already seeing quite a lot of. So we're quite excited about it.
I mean, it is Women's Month and everyone's going to go on and hamper about, oh, women are doing such great things, like we only need to be spoken about in the month of
August, right?
But I'm really interested in, finding out from you, what do you think it was about your consortium that got a player or bedded down a player like Macquarie?
I think it was probably Macquarie's commitment to really wanting to change, Macquarie's commitment to wanting to partner with individuals that we're going to add value. We've seen how BEE has kind of had a bad rap in the past because perhaps not the right intentions were put out when partnering. I think what Macquarie has done differently is that it has looked for partners that they equally respect, partners that have a voice around the table, partners that will differ with them and they respect those differences. So I'd say kudos to Macquarie for looking for partners that were not going to be passive partners, but partners that sit at the table and have a voice.
I mean, Gugu, you are under the umbrella of a black, 100% black female-owned firm in the financial services industry. And I'm really interested in your experience of how the industry has transformed. Let's not even take it back 5 years. I think that's just too long. No. Let's even say year on year.
Correct.
This time last year.
This time last year, this time 6 months ago, it's a steep ladder. But I think it's transactions like these ones that will demonstrate that change is around the corner. I also think that it's important for us as females not to be tokens that are dealt with for only the month of August, but that we also just show up. And and I guess this is a challenge to our male colleagues, our male friends, to see us as diversity in terms of gender in boards. It's been demonstrated, scientifically demonstrated, that it really changes how the board is run, and it demonstrates growth for companies when they are diversified in that form. So when you say in the last year, I'd say in the last 6 months, I'd say in the last 2 weeks. So it's a constant issue that we have to deal with. It's something that we have to push against. I mean, I'm digressing just a little bit, but I was looking at the stats in the new NEC for 2019, and there are no females, and it's 2018. That we shouldn't be raising our hands to say we're here.
Sure.
It should go without saying that you need females to be able to get to a better society.
But I imagine that in your line of work, you didn't wait for someone to pick you. You certainly pushed through those barriers yourself. So tell me a little bit about that, and especially for women who are waiting for doors to be opened for them.
So interestingly for me, I always tell my mentees that I've had a board of people around me. And one of those, and for me, it's the strange thing is that it's been males who've been very supportive of me, and females have tended not to be as supportive. So I'll name one person who's been, well, maybe two people who've been amazing in my career. Philip Hawkerby, who was the former CEO of Ernst & Young, which is now called EY, the likes of Jabu Mabuza. And I think those are the kind of people for me that have opened doors and have said, listen, we believe in her, give her a chance and she'll crack, she'll crack the whip. And that's in turn made me be a female advocate, because if I sit on interviews and there are females, I tend to go for the female candidate, and I know that they won't disappoint because we've got so much to work towards. Yeah.
I mean, Gugu, I'm out of time, but just last question. Given the breaking news that has just happened today regarding VBS Bank now, provincial sequestration orders have been granted against 3 directors there. Corruption has got no color all over the world. It's just unfortunate right now that there's quite a large incidence of, in the financial services industry specifically, of corruption that is looking very black.
Yeah.
And how is this taking away from the possibility of more BEE deals with global players like Macquarie, to essentially or drive further inclusion and transformation in the industry?
I mean, I think perhaps there tends to be a lot of focus on black leaders in financial services. Now it's the latest, but I mean, you have to look at Steinhoff.
Sure.
It's not new. I think it's just that white collar crime has been underreported, or perhaps there hasn't been an understanding of some of the issues that go on in those environments. And I think right now it's been highlighted because it's happening in our faces, and I guess election time, so a lot of things come out in the open because everybody is scrambling for power. But I think it's across race, it's across gender, it's across professions, as it is in financial services now. I'm sure we'll find it in a whole sector of environments.
But it certainly shouldn't take away from the transformation agenda.
It shouldn't take away from the transformation agenda at all. Those two are not interlinked.